Welcome to the Gamechanger with Dr. Sharalyn, where purpose meets performance and leaders are built to shift legacies. I'm Dr. Sharalyn Payne, executive strategist, speaker, and the secret weapon behind leaders who drive transformation at the highest levels. Each episode delivers bold truths, power skills, and real-world strategies to help you lead with precision, show up with presence, and build the kind of influence that outlasts trends. This is the space where high-impact decisions are born, where influence is intentional, and where the bold don't just lead, they change the game. So if you're ready to rise, ready to lead, and ready to create the kind of impact that moves markets, missions, and minds, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about why people aren't following your lead. Let's be honest, having a title doesn't make you influential. Being in charge doesn't mean people are actually following you. I've worked with Fortune 500 executives, global leaders, and powerhouse visionaries, and I can tell you this. The real danger in leadership isn't being disliked, it's being ignored. In today's episode, we're pulling back the curtain on what I call the influence gap, that silent space between your perceived authority and your actual impact. If your leadership feels stalled, if your presence isn't sparking momentum, if you're putting in the effort but not seeing the execution, this conversation is your mirror. Because in a world flooded with noise, only trusted, credible, clear leadership cuts through and carries weight. Influence is not just about visibility. It's about velocity, resonance, and alignment. And here's where the gap lives, between how you see your leadership and how others experience your leadership. If people aren't moved by you, they won't move with you. David was the face of transformation, charismatic, polished, and publicly praised. But behind closed doors, his team didn't trust his vision. It shifted too often. The words were polished, but the follow-through lacked weight. David had presence, but no alignment. Performance, but no pull. A platform, but no partnership. Jasmine, a turnaround specialist, delivered metrics, but never mastered connection. Her team respected her results, but felt emotionally distant. They followed her, but out of compliance, not commitment. Jasmine's influence gap wasn't vision, it was vulnerability. Damien was technically brilliant and widely respected by industry peers, but inside the organization, he avoided tough conversations and struggled to delegate. His people felt micromanaged and invisible. His influence gap came from fear of letting go, fear of not being seen as the smartest person in the room. Once we coached through those internal blocks, everything changed. His team began to rise and his impact deepened. Power question of the day. Where are you pretending to be heard when deep down, you know you're just being tolerated? Let me introduce you to the Gamechanger influencer, Audit. Do people lean in when you speak, or do they simply comply? Do your values show up in how you elevate performance? Do your top performers respect your leadership, or do they manipulate your blind spots? Are your people clear on where you're going and how they matter in that journey? And one of my favorites, would they follow you if they didn't have to? I want you to take a moment and reflect, because leadership isn't just about performing. It's also about aligning with who you are and leading others from that truth. Here are some common breakdowns that disrupt powerful leadership. A lack of a clear, compelling vision, or worse, having no one to believe in. Role confusion. People don't know how their work connects to the bigger picture. Inconsistent or unfair performance evaluations, which destroy trust and motivation. An inability to hold people accountable, especially when top performers break values. Disconnection from hearts, minds, and spirits. Leadership that lacks empathy doesn't inspire action. Each breakdown isn't just a flaw. It's actually a portal to transformation. When you address these honestly, you shift the leadership culture from compliance to commitment, from confusion to clarity, from performance to purpose. To close the gap, you must recalibrate how you lead. This is where my credible framework becomes absolutely essential. You see, influence is never accidental. It's built intentionally through clarity, connection, credibility, compassion, and conviction. Let's explore these a little bit more. You can't lead what you haven't defined. If your people can't repeat the vision, they can't fulfill it. So where does your clarity need work today? Leadership is not mechanical, it's relational. Your people don't just want direction, they want to be seen. So where do you need to show more connection to the mission, to your people, or to yourself, and possibly even to the vision? Credibility. This really is your leadership currency. Say what you mean and do what you say. Do people trust what I say because they trust who I am? What's one area where your credibility could be slipping unintentionally or unnoticed? Compassion. This really is a leadership advantage and not a liability. And so many leaders struggle to show compassion, not just to their teams, but also to themselves. And here's a myth that we've got to break. The strong leaders don't show emotion. Here's the truth. Strong leaders connect emotion to the mission. Have you become so focused on the output that you've stopped seeing the people? You got to see the people and be able to connect with them, to show compassion for who they are and the work they're doing and how they support you. And conviction. Influence isn't for the faint of heart. Conviction is how you move people when it's not popular. So what do you need to lead with more courage right now, even if it costs you something? These 5 C's are the foundation of my ultra influential leader, identity, and game changer leadership model. And each one is a pivot point for personal transformation that leads to legacy level leadership. So let's talk about alignment activation, because this is where we go from insight to action. We can have all the insights in the world, but it really doesn't mean anything unless we take action. on the insights that we've been given. So let's activate alignment starting now. I want you to think of one conversation, one decision, or one relationship where your influence is off. And I want you to ask yourself this: what's the message I'm sending, either intentionally or unintentionally? What needs to shift for trust, clarity, or care to be restored? What would courageous leadership look like in this moment? This is where change begins, not in the boardroom, not on the stage, but in the mirror. You don't need to be louder, you need to be clear. You don't need more control, you need more credibility. Influence is the echo of your credibility. It's not about how many people hear you, it's about how deeply they believe you. Because when your credibility is consistent, your clarity is contagious, and your conviction is courageous. Your leadership doesn't just land, it leads, it lasts, and it leaves legacy. So I got something else for you, a mini coaching moment. We're going to rebuild influence from the inside out. I want you to get practical. If you were in a one-on-one coaching session with me right now, I'd ask you 3 questions to recalibrate your leadership presence. Ready for them? Question number 1. What feedback have you heard directly or indirectly that you've been avoiding? I'm going to ask you that one again because it's good. What feedback have you heard directly or indirectly that you've been avoiding? Need an example? Perhaps you don't speak up enough. Perhaps you speak too fast. Perhaps you are unclear. Perhaps you don't hold people accountable. Perhaps you have favorites. Maybe you lack follow through. Maybe you're so focused on the mission that you forget about the people. Maybe your values aren't aligned. What feedback have you heard directly or indirectly that you've been avoiding? Maybe you're not a great listener. Perhaps you over rely on someone. Where are your values not showing up in your daily decisions? Where are your values not showing up in your daily decisions? Now, for you to be able to answer that question, that means you need to be crystal clear on your values. So, where are your values not showing up in your daily decisions? If you can't answer that question, then I want you to take a pause and I want you to just spend some time thinking about your values. What's important to you? And question number 3, what kind of leader do you want your team to describe when you're not in the room? Now, see, I love this question because it's not what people say about you when you're in the room that truly matters. It's what they say about you when you're not in the room. That's the game changer. So, what kind of leader do you want your team to describe when you're not in the room? Now, imagine this isn't about changing everything at once. We can't change everything at once. So, let's get that thought out of our head. Influence shifts when you address one point of misalignment with deep honesty and courageous follow through. So, what's the one thing that you're going to focus on? Can't do everything, but we can do one thing and show up with greatness and consistency. So I want you to identify the one thing that demands your attention and that you know you should focus on. So pick one area: vision, connection, consistency, care, or courage, and commit to showing up differently this week. I want you to journal it, I want you to schedule it, and I want you to speak to it. This is your leadership alignment moment. Put your hand over your heart, close your eyes for 10 seconds, and ask, who do I want to be when it counts? What legacy do I want my leadership to leave in the lives of others? Now commit. This week, I will lead with clarity. I will connect with compassion. I will walk in credibility. I will choose courage over comfort. And I will live my leadership in a way that leaves a mark that outlives me. Because when you lead from a place of alignment, you don't have to chase influence because it flows through you and from you. That's what game changers do. And that, my friend, is who you are. You don't lead like everyone else, so your resources shouldn't look like everyone else's. Welcome to the Game Changers Leadership Collection for maximizing performance, potential, and profitability. This leadership collection features best practices, insights, and frameworks from my executive level work with high impact leaders across industries. It's designed to equip you with the clarity, tools, and strategic language needed to lead with credibility under pressure. Let's be clear. In high stakes rooms, executive presence isn't optional, it's mission critical. That's why I created the Executive Briefing Companion, your strategic script for navigating leadership's most defining moments. Whether you're in the boardroom, in front of the C-suite, or facing complex stakeholder dynamics, this tool helps you rise above the noise and lead with clarity, courage, and command. At its core is the 9 executive questions framework, a high impact structure that ensures your message cuts through uncertainty, aligns your audience, and positions you as the credible voice in the room. Think of this as your strategic battle card, the leadership intelligence you carry into the room that tests you most. Also included is the language of influence, your cheat sheet for persuasive, purposeful communication. These phrases and framing techniques are drawn from high stakes boardrooms, top tier executive coaching, and transformational leadership practices. Use this tool to strengthen your executive presence, navigate tension with calm authority, drive clarity, buy-in, and high stakes alignment, and speak with power without overpowering. You'll also get a preview of the 10 daily power skills, the high performance behaviors that fuel the world's most impactful leaders, creatives, activists, entrepreneurs, and change makers. These are not soft skills. They are strategic habits that create undeniable outcomes. You'll be able to self-assess with the high impact leadership scorecard, find your edge, close your gaps, activate your next level. And to ground your leadership in inspiration and intention, you'll receive the power of one poster, a visual reminder that one decision, one conversation, or one action can shift everything. Finally, I'm giving you access to my mini course, 7 leadership blind spots that are secretly sabotaging your culture and success, and how to eliminate them for good. Every tool in this collection is designed to elevate how you think, speak, and lead, because game changers don't follow trends, they set standards. Download the Game Changers Leadership Collection now. It's free, it's powerful, and it's built for leaders like you. I'm Dr. Sharalyn Payne, and this is your Leadership Edge. Thank you for joining me on the Game Changer with Dr. Sharalyn, where we don't follow trends, we set them, and we don't just lead teams, we shift legacies. If today's message challenged, stretched, or inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, tag it, lead through it, because real leaders don't just consume wisdom, they multiply it. Want to go deeper? Subscribe to the Ultra Influential newsletter for exclusive tools, behind-the-scenes strategy, and weekly mindset shifts for the leader ready to move nations, markets, and minds. Visit www.smpistrategies.com or send a note to leadership@smpistrategies.com. And if you're ready for next level coaching or consulting that positions you as the right leader at the right time in the right place, let's talk. This is what we do, and we do it with precision, power, and purpose. Remember, change isn't just something you lead, it's something you become. Stay bold, stay brilliant, stay a game changer.